From the Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia, presents the Masters. Well, it was back in 1934 when it all began. Began, in the words of Bobby Jones, as a small gathering of friends. It wasn't known as the Masters back then. It was known as the Augusta National Invitational. But here we are, all these springtimes later, and the tournament's poised for yet another memorable contribution to the history of the game.
Good morning and happy Masters Sunday. The sounds of Augusta. That piano and guitar music is just, it's iconic. It's one of the greatest sounds ever. Anybody remember the show, Name That Tune, back from the 80s? Or it was Chuck, I could name that song in one note. Like just the sound of the way that instrumental starts. Anybody that's a golf fan knows the minute you hear that piano key, it just has that sound to it that you know spring is in the air. And it is time for the Masters. And what a week it's been. Rory McIlroy today with Bryson DeChambeau head-to-head in a rematch from 2024's U.S. Open. Should be good. I think we're in for a treat. What are we doing today? Well, as you can see, I'm at home. It is Masters Sunday. I was thinking about going to the theme parks, but I'm like, I'm editing some vlogs, trying to get some things in the pipeline for this week. Thank you to everybody that's watched the Epic Universe video and commented on it. That video is doing really well. To my knowledge, I think, as of right now, I think I'm the first one that did the walking path from Stellanova to Epic Universe. So thank you very much for watching that. And we're gaining traction. And also thank you for 600. We hit the big 600 yesterday, and I couldn't be more thrilled. We are growing as a channel. It is a work in progress, and I really appreciate everybody subscribing, watching the videos. You know, we're getting better a little bit every day and finding what works and what doesn't work. And, you know, I thought for a little bit, I'll be honest, I was getting a little discouraged because, it's like, I don't understand it. You know, why? I think these are good ideas, but why aren't these videos getting any traction? And it's just, it's me having a newer channel. I mean, we're just not in the YouTube algorithm with the people that have the 100,000 subscribers, especially in the theme park and Disney group, because, dear Lord, if you tried to just type in Disney vlog, just put that in a YouTube search and look what comes up. And so it's tough, you know, but little by little, we're getting there. So thank you very much to everybody. Once we get to 1,000, I've got something really fun we're going to do. It's going to be something extreme, you know, something fun. I mean, I've already been skydiving, but what I want to do, I think, is go to Fun Spot in Kissimmee and do it's the world's tallest sky coaster. It's like 300 feet. And I think that would be amazing. That would be a fun celebration to 1,000. So let's get us there, little by little. Share this out. You know, the other thing, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I don't know if this hurts me or helps me, but it's just a belief I have. I really don't say a whole lot to like and subscribe. I leave that up to you. You know, to me, it's kind of a turnoff when you click on somebody's video and the first thing they put out there is make sure you like and subscribe. Well, I haven't seen anything yet. How do I know if I like it? And why should I subscribe to you? You haven't shown me any product. You know, so I kind of let that handle itself. If somebody really likes it, you know, they're going to subscribe. Anyway, welcome to the vlog, everybody. Home vlog, Masters Sunday. What I thought we would do today is I'm going to take you on a little journey. And it's about what it's like to go to the Masters Golf Tournament. I have been before with my dad. That was a Christmas gift that I got for him and myself so we could go. It was something I've wanted to do basically since I was a kid and I started understanding what golf was. The Masters tournament every year is one of my all-time favorite tournaments to watch. And I know people are like, well, how can you watch golf? Anybody that finds this vlog, if you're a passionate golfer, you love watching golf. It's hard to explain to people. And honestly, if people that kind of bash watching golf, if they would sit down for a minute and just watch it a little bit, it's amazing how it can grab you, especially on a Sunday afternoon when, you got 3 or 4 people tied for the lead and they're all coming down 15, 16, 17, 18. It can get pretty intense. And I love it, and especially when they, like later this year when the Ryder Cup comes around. I think they're coming to Bethpage Black in Farmingdale, New York. I would love to go up there and see that. United States versus Europe for the Ryder Cup. It's once every 2 years, bragging rights for 2 years. It's a really, really good tournament to watch, and it's super exciting. It's 3 days of match play, and it is just no love lost between the U.S. and Europe, even with the fans too. But the Masters, back to the Masters, it is just, there's something about this tournament. It is in a special place. It's during the springtime, and every year the Masters is just, it's one of those tournaments that everybody that's passionate about golf looks forward to. It's an iconic tournament. From the music to the familiarities of the tournament, like they talk about Butler Cabin. They talk about, it's not there anymore, but the Eisenhower tree that was on 17, Hogan's Bridge, Rays Creek, Gene Saracen Bridge. The history that's in that course is just unbelievable. So I think give you a little walkthrough of what it was like to actually go to the Masters tournament. And real quick before we go into that, I just want to say, I would love to go back to the Masters. That ticket lottery is next to impossible, but I keep trying every year. But what pisses me off are these people that take advantage of these tickets. They get these ticket lotteries, and basically it's like hitting the lottery because these people resell these things on StubHub for an astronomical price. And this year, I just wanted to see what it would cost to go to a practice round, because that's where my dad and we went to the practice round. We went to Monday's practice round. And this year, for one practice round ticket was $2,500 through StubHub. And you click on that, it was $2,500 plus almost $1,000 processing fee. I know that's been a point of contention for quite a while, these ridiculous fees. I mean, $1,000? Are you kidding me right now? You're basically taking the ticket price, adding another 50%. So if you bought 2 of those, it'd be $5,000 plus another $2,000 on top of that. So 2 tickets be $7,000 with $2,000 of processing fees. I don't know how to get it. I don't even know where to begin with fighting that, and I know they're trying to, but that is insane. There is absolutely zero reason to charge that kind of money for a handling fee when you're literally just the ticket's on your phone now. I don't even get, well, I think the Masters, you actually get it's an actual hard stock ticket still, because that's part of their traditions. But still, for somebody to send the ticket in the mail, it's insane, absolutely insane. And I would love to go back to the Masters, but I refuse to pay that kind of pricing for a ticket that realistically has a $75 face value. I think the practice round tickets are somewhere between $50 and $75, and I think tournament day tickets are like $125 or $150. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm in the ballpark on that. So people that are selling these are making an absolute fortune off these tickets, and people pay it. And that's part of the reason why all this shit exists, because people keep paying that insanity just so they can go. I would love to go back, but until that disappears or at least gets reduced significantly, I refuse to pay $1,000 processing and handling fee. Absolutely not. But anyway, back to my experience at the Masters. My dad and I went in 2011. That was the year that I got us the tickets for Christmas time, and I was never more excited because I actually bought mine that year through eBay. And in 2011, for the practice round, I paid $250 a piece, so about $500 plus tax, which, fine. That's the Masters. I don't mind that. That's to some that may seem extreme, but, that was okay with me. And I'll never forget when I got those tickets in the mail. They came in this envelope, and they were I have them somewhere. I'll have to find them, but they're really neat. I mean, you basically, it's a hard stock like badge, and you wear it. It comes with a lanyard, and you wear it. And that's your ticket for the day. And it is, every year they come up with a new design, and it is just, it was really cool to see that. And then in that, it came with a course map, where to park, the entrance, how to navigate the course. It was awesome. And so, having watched this tournament with my dad and my uncles, my grandparents for years, I could not hardly sleep the night before when we got there, because basically, to save a little money, we stayed in Columbia, South Carolina, because any hotel, like the Motel 6 in Augusta, was like $700 a night. It was insane. So Columbia was about an hour away from Augusta, so we stayed there, had awesome, really good price, and we got up early in the morning. I could hardly eat. I was so excited. And we got in the car and we started making our way to Augusta. And all I could think about is, I've seen this on TV, but I can't wait to see it in person. All I could think about was Augusta being this like really ritzy, fancy town, similar to anybody that's ever been to either Celebration, Florida, here locally, or Daniel Island in South Carolina. I kept picturing it to be something like that. And we get into Augusta, and I'm just like, where are we? Did we make a wrong turn somewhere? I mean, Augusta is I'm sorry, anybody that lives there, it's a crap hole. I mean, I was not expecting that. So anyway, we're driving through Augusta, and then, of course, you see all the signs for Augusta National, and then it's like this, you got all of this, like, it's just kind of almost a rundown type town, and then out of nowhere, here comes the signs in the entryway for Augusta National Golf Club. And you follow the signs, there's this huge parking lot, and you go and you park, and the one thing that I will say that I really liked about the Masters is, and even to this day, if you watch the tournament later today, watch the patrons in the gallery, Augusta still has the rule, and they still hold tight by it. And I love the fact that they do this. Augusta National Golf Club has a 0 cell phone policy, meaning you cannot have your cell phone anywhere on your person whatsoever. It has to stay in the car, or you have to check it in when you get to the tournament gates. They are very strict on that. It is one of the traditions that they have kept, and I applaud them for doing it, because I cannot tell you how nice it was for about 5 to 6 hours while we were there. Now, actually, it might have even been longer than that. It was a full day. But anyway, the entire time we were there were no cell phones ringing, no nothing. And you might ask me, well, Matt, what are people supposed to do? How are they supposed to get in touch? They took care of that. What Augusta did is, all throughout the golf course, it's like stepping back in time. They have these giant payphone banks. And now I think it's complimentary. I don't think you have to pay for it. But it looks like giant payphone banks. There's just phones lined up. And you can make your phone calls. So what my suggestion is, if you are going to the Masters and you've never been, take any number that might be important to you, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, put it in your pocket, because they will not let you take your cell phone in. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No days can you have your cell phone on you. Now, Monday, Tuesday, I think Wednesday, up to a point, you can bring a camera in. So any type of camera, but no cell phone cameras, a regular camera. So if you want to get photos of the course, you have to bring an actual camera with you. And I have pictures, but unfortunately they're on an Apple MacBook I have that I cannot get to work anymore, and I'm trying everything to get it to boot so I can at least get those pictures transferred, because I've got so many amazing photos on there, and it kind of pisses me off that I didn't save. This was in 2011, so I didn't really think about saving anything to a cloud. I don't even know if that was even around back then, but they're on that MacBook, so I'm trying to figure out how to reboot that so I can get those photos somewhere saved, because I have a lot of them, and they're gorgeous. And even for the cameras back in 2011, it sounds like that's ancient. But Augusta National has a 0 tolerance for cell phones. If you can't even sneak it into the course. You go through so many metal detectors. When we walk in there, so you park in the parking lot, and then you walk up, and immediately it's like the town of Augusta disappears, and then it's like this diamond out of nowhere just starts to shine. And I mean, even the walking paths up to where you check your tickets in, and then you go through the metal detectors, every single piece of grass and everything is immaculately manicured. And so you go up there, you go through two separate metal detectors. Like they don't play around. And once you go through that, then they scan your badge. You're good to go. And so, I had no idea what to expect walking into the course. And so I kept thinking like, oh, we're going to walk out, we're going to walk in and, there's the golf course. But that's not how it's laid out. And now it may have changed because, again, I haven't been there since 2011. But you walk in and then you walk through this, like, it's all wooded. And there's all of these shops on either side, all the gift shops, the restaurants, everything that's there. And so you follow this walking path. And then as you come out of the walking path, you see these big tall trees, and then the trees disappear. And then as you come out, there you are in the middle of number one fairway. And the clubhouse is off to your left, and then number one green is off to your right. And then right there next to the where the pathway exits out onto number one fairway is the giant famous leaderboard that says the Masters on it. And my dad and I actually had our picture taken right there before we made our way out onto the course. And I'll throw that in here. I actually do have that photo. That's a really neat picture. That was such an amazing day. But so we had our picture taken right there by the leaderboard, and we just were in awe of this place. I mean, you step out onto number one, and the other thing that TV does not do any justice for, and anybody that's been there can vouch for this, the amount of hills, and I mean hills, big hills, that are at Augusta National is insane. It seems flat on TV. It really does. You can get an idea, but until you are there, you're like, my God, I mean, the elevation changes are unfreaking believable at that golf course. And to walk it is truly, it's a workout to walk Augusta National. The other thing I found amazing is the bunkers. You can see it sometimes if the players go into the bunkers. I mean, you'll see them, and the bunker lip will be like way over their head. Like, these bunkers are humongous. And what I find amazing is that everything on that golf course is so well manicured that the bunkers, the grass where it goes into the sand trap, is a perfect 90-degree angle. I mean, it's like they took a 90-degree angle and like measured everything as they were cutting that. I mean, not one blade of grass is out of place, nothing. In fact, I always joked around, I'm like, this course is so well manicured that if somebody accidentally dropped a wrapper on the ground, a groundskeeper would come up out of nowhere, grab the wrapper, and then disappear again. I mean, it's incredible. And then the other thing I found amazing is every single pine tree, and there's a bunch of them, every single tree has a freaking lightning rod attached to it. Every one of them. If you ever go to Augusta, look at the trees. You all see a steel cable running down every single tree. Incredible. Incredible. And then the other reason why I want my pictures is I have a picture from near the 17 tee box looking down the fairway, and that was the time before the Eisenhower tree had gotten destroyed by, I think it was lightning hit it, and basically they tried to revive it, but it killed the tree. And that tree was famous because back in the day, apparently every president that's president of the United States gets an automatic invitation to Augusta National because, again, it's a very prestigious club. You don't just show up and say, hey, I'm here to become a member of this here golf club. It's invitation only. And Dwight D. Eisenhower used to play there all the time, and apparently that tree on 17, he hit it so many times that he actually petitioned to have that thing cut down. He hit it so many times. So it was coined the Dwight D. Eisenhower tree, or the Eisenhower tree. And sadly, it was destroyed by lightning a couple years ago. But I still have that photo of the Eisenhower tree. So again, I'm trying to figure out a way to recoup some of these pictures. It's so hard to describe, everybody, until you've been there. Like to see to see the course layout and how you perceive it on TV is nothing like how you see it in person. I mean, we walked the front nine a little bit, and so we were following some of the players. And I'm telling you, number 6 par 3, the the amount of undulation that is on that hole is insane. It's like you're standing on a mountaintop teeing down to the green. Incredible. And, we followed some of the players back there. We followed Vijay Singh. Fuzzy Zeller was out there. We followed a couple other ones. Tiger wasn't on the course yet, but he was there. Phil Mickelson was there. We followed some really good players. And when we finally made our way up to 9, then we decided we'll take a quick lunch break before we go enjoy the back 9, because that's really the most famous part of Augusta National is that back 9. And also, I think it's important to note that every single hole is named after a flower or a tree. It's really cool. Like for example, number 18 is called Holly, and number 18 has holly trees all along it. I think it's 12 is azalea. It's either 12 or 13. One of them is azalea, and along the entire hole is nothing but azaleas. And it's really neat. And when you walk up to the hole, they have that there. And the name of the hole and then the flower that's represented on that hole. And it's also neat to see these plaques that are all over the golf course. Like in 1995, they put a plaque behind number 16 with Arnold Palmer on it. And, it's neat to see that. And the ones with Jack Nicklaus's name on it and all these players that made history. And as you're walking through the course, you're just like, the amount of history that has taken place on this golf course is hard to even imagine. And so just the feelings you get being there, it's unreal. And so we took a little break after number 9 before we set out to the back 9. And what amazed me too were the prices, like the food prices. That's where I learned to like the pimento cheese sandwich. I'd never had that before. That was one of the best things I've ever had. But we had pimento cheese sandwiches. I think we had a couple hot dogs. We had some chips and a couple of beers, and I think we paid like just a little over $7, I think, something like that. The pricing was insane, and it's old school pricing. They still talk about it to this day. Augusta has never changed their prices. Again, it's a little piece of tradition in this big world of inflation right now. Like it's such a neat experience. Even the gift shops that you go by. I obviously, having been there, I wanted something to commemorate my dad and I's visit. So naturally, one of the things I thought to get would be the pin flag. And it has never been out of this plastic. It's been in there ever since. And this is one thing that I cherish this. I love this. This thing has got so many memories in its cloth, just from that day. And so I don't know if the price is still on here. Yeah, right there. Look, these pin flags normally, what do you think, like $40-50? I mean, look at this. I don't know if you could see that. That's $22. Now it's 2011 pricing, but I don't think it's changed much. If anybody's been to Augusta recently, let me know if you've bought a pin flag, if it's very similar to the pricing. But I bought a bunch of souvenirs from there, from just for myself, some of my friends that I work with at the fire department. And I think I spent like $50. I mean, it was crazy. Just the pricing was unreal. So anyway, we get done, and we get ready to head out on the back 9. And, the excitement is there because that's obviously where all the famous holes are. And just walking down number 10 with all those cabins on the side, and then you could see the clubhouse, and then what they call Butler Cabin, where they do all the interviews for CBS. And that's where the champions put the green jackets on. And there's also a bunch of Masters chairmen walking around, and they have those green jackets on. And, I mean, I was able to get close to one of the guys wearing one. I mean, these things are the real deal. I mean, this is like everything stitched on, obviously tailor-made fit. The buttons on them are like actual gold, 24 karat gold. I mean, it's just... Oh, man, I would love to slip one on, just see what it feels like. I can't imagine. But to be right next to somebody wearing one of those green jackets was really neat. And, of course, they have a little museum when you come in, too, and those green jackets are on display as well with the Masters trophy, because not only do you win the green jacket, but you get a trophy of the clubhouse, and it's pretty neat. And then your name gets etched on it too. So we start on number 10, and I will tell you that bunker that you see on 10, people hit way past it now, because when it was designed, it was, they weren't hitting the ball as far as they do now. So that was very much in play. But now everybody just flies right over it. But the valley that goes down, and then the amount of climbing you have to do to get up to 10 green is wild. In fact, when you see the spot in person where Bubba Watson hit that famous shot in that playoff and stuck it right next to the hole to win his first Masters, when you stand in that location, you're just like, my God, like, how did he even pull this off? They've even tried to recreate that shot, and they can't. They have a very hard time doing it. And that's with even the best golfers in the world. They even tried to do it with like AI, and even the AI is like, I don't understand how this worked. So, when you see that, it's incredible. And then when you come back out onto 11, and when you look down 11, you can see a little bit of the Hogan Bridge that connects over to the par 3 12. And just looking over at 11, 12, and 13, they call that Amen Corner back there. And honestly, I could stay back there all day, all 4 days of the tournament, and just be content. If you stand in the right place, you can see him coming down 11 and then putting. And 11's it's a par 4. It's like a 500-yard par 4. 11 is not an easy hole. And so you have them coming down 11, and then you can see him tee off on 12, putt on number 12 green, and then you can see him tee off on 13, heading down that long par 5 with Rays Creek on along the side there. But just standing there and seeing number 12 in person, the most famous par 3 in all of golf, it could be argued, outside of the numbers, 7 at Pebble Beach, the one that goes out to the ocean, I would say 12 at Augusta is the most famous par 3 ever. In fact, I'm going to put a picture up over here. And the bridge, they call that the Ben Hogan Bridge. The other thing I find amazing is, as a patron, you cannot get back there. The farthest you can get is behind number 12 tee box, and then you can go over, and the ropes, if you will, kind of form a V, and so you can get kind of like in between. I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. You can get to the right side of 12 tee box, and then it stops you from going any further, but then you can see them tee off and come down 13, and then as it begins the dog leg down the 13th fairway. So arguably 12 and 13 are probably the two most famous holes in golf, especially that 13 green, where it's got the bunkers on the backdrop and all that. The two beautiful holes of golf. Again, I could have stayed there all day and just watched golf right there. So we stayed there for quite a while watching players come through. And then we started walking down 13. And then, so you go from 13, 14 is just kind of like, okay, 14's 14. But then I was excited to see the big par 5. 15's also a very, very famous hole. That was obviously, for any golf fan that knows, that's a big fan of the Masters, that was where Gene Sarazen hit the shot heard around the world, where he double-eagled 15. And to my knowledge, I don't think that's been done since. That would be a very difficult hole to double eagle. For those that aren't golf fans, double eagle is if it's a par 5, meaning you have 5 tries to get it in the hole, which would be a par. So if you get a 4, it's a birdie. 3, it's an eagle. In 2 is a double eagle or an albatross. Those are arguably harder to get than a hole in 1, because chances are to get it, that ball in the hole, you're hitting it a lot farther than on a par 3. So you start walking down 15, and you see, they call it the Sarazen Bridge, and it's backdropped by a bunch of stands, and they have a plaque on there. You can't get over to the side to read it, but it basically talks about Gene Sarazen's shot, the double eagle there, and it's just, oh man, I can't, folks. It is a truly magical place. I've even said while we were walking around there, I said, if heaven's got a golf course, this is it. Like there's nothing in the world like it. It's just it's truly stunning. And again, to see all these historical markers there, and if you're a golf fan, the history that you knew that has taken place there, it just, man, to walk on those grounds is unbelievable. And so, we go from 15 and then 16, which is the famous par 3 that goes over the creek, a little bit of water there on the left-hand side. And, during Monday, things are kind of loose on the golf course too. Like it's a practice round, so nothing too serious going on. Everybody's getting ready for the tournament. So on Monday, they have this challenge where they try to skip the balls across the water on 16 and up onto the green. And so the players and the caddies get in on this. And that was fun to sit there and watch, just kind of having some fun. And then, of course, 17, which was the famous Eisenhower tree hole. And one thing I never realized, but 17 is also the only hole on the entire golf course that doesn't have a sand trap. If I'm thinking of the right hole, I think that's the one. There's no sand on number 17. There was something about 17, and I think it's the only hole without a sand trap on it. And then, of course, you walk up to 18, and oh my gosh. When you see 18 on TV, you see them tee off, and it looks like they're hitting the ball through that tiny tunnel of trees. The TV makes that look a lot smaller than it is. There's actually a lot of room down there to hit. It's amazing how TV changes the perspective of things. But there's a big area to hit that ball into. But there's also a lot of trouble on the left and right to get into on 18 if you don't hit it straight down the center. And those sand traps on 18 that are within driving distance, those suckers, like you go into those things, like the player almost disappears. They're so deep. You barely see the top of his head. Is wild how deep those bunkers are. And then, of course, as you walk up 18, it's this big hill that you come walking up. And, of course, when you stand behind 18, you think about all the history that's taken place there. I mean, everything under the sun has taken place, obviously, on hole 18, with the exception of a couple of playoff holes that have happened. But I will tell you, folks, man, if it's an experience. If you ever get a chance to go, obviously don't go into debt to do it, but go and experience this. And if you have somebody in your family that you share the passion of golf with, take them with you, because I will never forget that day forever, with my dad and I walking that course. When I was growing up, I would sit there on the floor at my grandma and grandpa's house with everybody watching golf. I loved golf from the moment I could walk and talk, and I've played my whole life, and I love the game. I would love to play professionally, honestly. It's a lot of work, but it's something I would love to do, and it's because it's you versus nature, and you can never master the game of golf. I don't care. Every other sport you can get excellent at, like you can really come close to mastering it. Golf is this freaking weird ass sport where you can go out and you could shoot 10 under par one day and then come back on the same golf course in the same conditions. Nothing changes. And then next thing you know, you shoot an 8 over for an 80. That's assuming the bar is 72. But it's just, the game is so, it's very mental. It's like 80% mental. And Ben Hogan had one of the greatest quotes about golf. He says, golf is played on a 5-inch course, the distance between your ears. And it's so true, because if you lose your mental focus, it's gone. And I can attest to playing in tournaments when I was growing up and going through high school and early college and that, and losing my cool a little bit, and the game goes downhill fast. And that was one thing my grandfather always used to beat me over the head over. He's like, damn it, Matt, stop losing your cool. He goes, did anything change? No, you still played like crap, didn't you? Yes, sir. So those are life lessons that I carry on to this day. It is completely useless to lose your mind or your patience over something, because freaking out, screaming, throwing things, and throwing a tantrum doesn't change the situation that you're in. It just makes it worse. The best way out of it is to buckle down and focus and just get shit done. But I love the game. I mean, it is incredible. That's my Masters story and a little bit of a little extra. So if you are considering going to the Masters, again, if you can afford it, don't go into debt. But If you get an opportunity to go, take it. You will never regret it. And when I went to the Masters, that was my dad and I, that was our first time ever going to any PGA tournament. So like we went big right off the rip. And then I was hooked from there. And so now I've been to a lot of tournaments, you know. One of my favorites when I was living in Charleston, it's actually next week. I used to go to the RBC Heritage in Hilton Head. That was a lot of fun. You know, I've been to obviously the Arnold Palmer here. I've been to Innisbrook for the Valspar, and then the Players Championship, which is another tournament I love to go to. I would love to go see the British Open, and I would love to see the U.S. Open as well. I think that would be an incredible sight to see. And also the Ryder Cup. I think the Ryder Cup would be phenomenal. A little bit of my story on the Masters. I hope you all liked it. Again, just kind of a sit and chat here. It's an amazing tournament, folks. I can't even. It's stunning, and I hope I was able to paint a really nice picture about it, because it's beautiful, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. So I hope you have a good afternoon, good Sunday afternoon. This has been The Truth. It's been actual, and I hope for everybody watching out there, any golf fans, you found it mighty satisfactory. And good luck today to all competitors. And Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy, good luck to you. I know we're in for a treat today. Let's go get it. Let's go watch some golf. See you, everybody.